All right. Hey, thank you for having some interest in A Place to Talk. This coming Sunday at A Place to Talk, we're going to look at one of Jesus's most famous passages, one of the most famous lines in well, I guess it's one of the most famous lines in the Sermon on the Mount. It says, "You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It's no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl or a bushel. Instead, they put it on a stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." What do you think about that passage? What goes through your mind as you think about those texts? Over history, people have debated what it actually means to be salt. Some people want to say that it's all about bringing flavor, and others talk about how it's about preserving or preservation. As I was thinking about if salt loses its saltiness and it's no good except to be thrown out, I wonder if salt losing its saltiness, does that cause it to be less of a preserving factor, or does it cause it to be less flavorful? And so that might be a clue into what Jesus meant with this question. Here are some of the questions we're going to talk about this coming Sunday at A Place to Talk. Now remember, these are conversation starters. At A Place to Talk, I'm really careful not to give you conclusions. I want to give you questions to start your thinking, to kind of get you on this journey, and let you come to your own conclusions. I believe that the Spirit of God does a better job of kind of cementing into us what the conclusion should be, rather than us. I don't want to ever be some guy that acts like or thinks like he's a guru that is giving you the conclusions. I want you to come to the conclusion with the Spirit of God that lives in you. You say, "Josh, that sounds like mysticism." Well, maybe it is. Maybe I believe that God still speaks. Maybe I believe that God still talks to us. In fact, I would say that's kind of at the heart and the core of A Place to Talk. It's a place where we believe that we gather to talk to one another, because that's kind of been the pattern in Christianity, in the faith of Christians throughout time. Even when those letters were written that we now call the Bible, those letters were written to communities and to groups, and they read them together and they talked about them, and they allowed that conversation to kind of guide their lives. So when Jesus calls people salt, what part of that image connects with you the most? Flavor, preservation, wisdom, or something else? Have you ever felt like you lost your saltiness? Saltiness might sound like a bad term to you, like maybe you don't want to be salty. Don't be salty. But what does it mean to be salty in real life? Is it maybe that our personality, brings flavor to a conversation, or maybe it brings some preserving elements to a community? What does it look like in real life? Jesus says we're the light of the world. What do you think he meant by calling ordinary people light? Do you think Jesus was speaking to individuals, or was he talking to a community as a whole? Are we as the church supposed to be light and salt, or are we as individuals supposed to go out into our work days and our lives and be salt and light? Does being light or salt mean that we speak up and we speak out in a conversation? Does it mean, can we be salt and light on social media? Can we be salt and light on Instagram and Facebook? Or is it more about just living in a way that brings goodness, light, kindness, joy, gentleness, peace into dark places? What gifts or strengths in you might be a kind of light that you need to be careful not to hide? Or are there gifts and strengths in you that you tend to hide? You have a habit of not sharing them with the world. What's the difference between shining brightly and just showing off? How are we careful to be light and not to just be obnoxious? I don't know, whatever that might be, just people just trying to show off. When Jesus talks about being a city on a hill, is he describing a spiritual community? Do you think that metaphor has been misused in politics or nationalism? What kind of light do you personally hope your life brings into the world? What would your light be? I was talking to a young person recently, and she had come face to face with a sure enough bona fide, admitted, open white nationalist, and she was shocked. She was blown away that kind of person really existed. Like, I wonder if she just thought those were accusations that people threw around, but when she found out that she was around someone that was openly a white nationalist, it seems so evil and so insane that maybe if you grew up as she did in the, you know, her date doesn't start with 19, you know what I mean? When you grow up in that world, you almost don't believe or don't imagine that kind of thing exists, but it does. And what's even more insane is that sometimes these people, they believe that they can simultaneously be followers of Christ, which is asinine, right? But what is it that causes somebody to think that they can be both nationalist and racist and simultaneously people of Christianity? What makes them, what's going through their mind? How do they tick? And how can you and I be salt and light around that world? Maybe the most important question we'll ask is, what part of this teaching feels like an invitation? What part of this teaching from Jesus, being salt and light, it feels like an invitation instead of a burden? These are the kind of questions we're going to talk about this coming Sunday at A Place to Talk. Now listen, at A Place to Talk, we're very careful to not put pressure on people. I don't want to should on you. I don't want to tell you what you should and shouldn't do. I want to be curious, help you be curious. I want to be honest, help you be honest. And I want to help us just have a conversation that kind of gives us the opportunity to maybe the shoulding should only be shoulding on ourselves. We should only should yourself. That seems inappropriate, doesn't it? But I think that's the way walking with Jesus works. It's me and him, or me and the Spirit of God, maybe I should say. And the Spirit of God and I decide how I should live in this world. Again, look forward to seeing you. Would love for you to come and be a part of the conversation this coming Sunday at A Place to Talk. See you then.